The book we are going to pursue now is named Mind Palace: How to Memorize and Surmise Like Sherlock. The book is written by Ron White. This is an overview of the book. Forward. The character of Sherlock Holmes has been repeated in different forms, but with the same characteristics over many genres: television, books, movies, and social clubs. It is as if the character were real and people are fascinated with how his mind works. The draw of Sherlock Holmes is not just because people are interested in intrigue and detective stories. They want to actually learn to think like Sherlock Holmes. They want to test their intelligence against the master. Is it possible to solve a crime quicker than Sherlock Holmes? Is he always right? How is he able to spot all those clues others miss so quickly? People have formed clubs around the character. The most famous being the Baker Street Irregulars, founded in 1934 by Christopher Morley. With these gatherings, people from all parts of the world meet in person or on social media to reenact a crime and try to see who can solve the mystery first. They exchange written works on homes, mysteries, clues, and even fan inspired trading cards. Often people want to see if they are smarter than Sherlock Holmes and if they possess the ability to recall minute details that can help them form an educated resolution to a problem. They want to understand how Sherlock Holmes thinks. Is he a genius or does he come to his conclusions as anyone else would who takes the time to focus and observe? My name is Ron White and I am a two-time USA memory champion. I have held the record for the fastest person to memorize a deck of cards in the USA and for the most numbers memorized in 5 minutes at 167 digits. I promise you that you can do these things with practice, and I want to help you learn how to do just that. I have been a memory training expert for many years. I have done videos where I can recall the names of almost everyone in an audience and have conducted seminars around the world on how to improve memory to enrich all aspects of your life, including your job. Memory and memory improvement is not only a job for me, it's a passion. I enjoy watching people's faces as I have the audience members stand up and one by one I will point to them and recall their names so they can sit down. Many think I have a photographic memory, but that is not the case. I was born with a normal brain and memory just like most people. What is different for me is that I have trained myself to memorize long lists, names, and locations. Most of the time, I use the method of Loki, or as Holmes calls it, the memory palace, an ancient technique that allows you to recall information based on associating the information with a specific location, and anyone can do it. I want to explain to you what memory is and the different types of memory we use to make decisions and come to conclusions. I want to teach you exactly how Sherlock Holmes' brain works to spot details, organize, dismiss, and focus on what most people overlook. I want to teach you how you can use your memory to store and recall facts so they are at your disposal whenever you need them. In essence, I want to teach you how you too can think like Sherlock Holmes by using his mind palace and fine tuning his memory techniques and tools. I put together this book to teach you how to see the world as Sherlock Holmes would and to help you see that you too can be brilliant at remembering details. I want to show you that learning to think like Holmes can help you in your daily life. This book is part of a larger program that can be found at sherlockskills.com. The program enables you to memorize names and faces, memorize chapters of books, learn foreign languages, give speeches without notes, memorize Bible verses, or whatever you want, but the right things. So I really recommend that you check it out. Who knows? You could become a brilliant detective like Sherlock Holmes. If not a detective, at least you have the tools to develop your mind and memory to think like the brilliant investigator. I look forward to following you in your journey to think like Sherlock Holmes, and I look forward to feedback on your progress. Written by Ron White, the writer himself. So these are the contents, the chapters of this book. We'll discuss about the magnetism of Sherlock Holmes and the Conan Doyle, and influence of Doyle's characters. Like Sherlock Holmes, there were some other characters made by Conan Doyle, the writer, and the beginning of forensic evidence, so on, and photographic memory, ability to focus, and senses to use to solve problems, reading the science and memorize that, and what is mind palace, how to use that, and building our list, memorizing our list, answers to the lessons, and practice about all those listing and other things, and so on. We are going to do plus some exercises, and we will also see some resources about it. So these are the things we are going to get to know in this book. Chapter 1: The Magnetism of Sherlock Holmes. If you are like me, you are a fan of Sherlock Holmes. We have read the books and seen the movies and television shows where he outsmarts his nemesis and other trained detectives by focusing in on small but important details that escape others. There is something about this intellectual detective that is magnetic. We are drawn in by his astute logical reasoning, his ability to adopt almost any disguise, and his use of forensic science to solve difficult cases, even before the introduction of modern DNA testing and computers. We respect him, admire him, and want to think like him. What is it about Sherlock Holmes that draws us to him? How is he able to spot things that other trained professionals have missed? Does he have a photographic memory? Or is it something any of us can learn? These are questions Sherlock Holmes aficionados would like answers to, and what I wish to address throughout this book. The great English ghost story writer Montague Rhodes James once said the adventures of Sherlock Holmes differed from his ghostwriting in that his stories did not frighten people as long as they were long ago and far away, while Doyle's stories brought them to the here and now. The Sherlock Holmes stories originated in Victorian England, yet the tales have universal appeal and have withstood time. As a matter of fact, the appeal seems to be escalating, with more and more entertainment involving a main character with Holmes' amazing memory and observation abilities. Example, The Mentalist, Forever, Elementary, etc. Every crime story with a wise detective incorporates some of the methods of Sherlock Holmes. When you get to know Holmes better, you can easily spot these elements and see the similarities. We like the appeal of an adventure and we also enjoy the intrigue of a riddle. It's only human nature to be curious and competitive. We want to see if we can outsmart those who are trained experts. And most of us want to see the criminals get caught. The more cocky, creative, and intelligent the criminal is, the more exciting and intriguing the case becomes. Until the conclusion is reached. People always are curious. We want to know what happened when a crime was committed. We want details. We want to come to our own conclusions before anyone else to see how smart we are and if can solve the crime before the experts do. In addition, solving a crime brings us a sense of safety in an ever growing unsafe world. We want to bring order from chaos. Even if the world around us is crumbling and the story is fictitious, we can escape to a place where order is restored. And Sherlock Holmes brings that order. Even though Sherlock Holmes is brilliant, he is a flawed person, which makes him vulnerable and human. We can relate to him on many levels. So we excuse his flaws, heroine addition, and arrogance because he is able to make the world a better and safer place. He makes mistakes but admits to them and moves on, using what he learned from his mistakes to help him further along in the investigation. The appeal of Doyle's stories first came about because the backdrop was in London and a familiar place to his initial readers. They could picture the streets, back alleys, and buildings. This allowed them to become a part of the story, even if they were not the characters. When you envision something, you are better able to imagine it, and as you will see in later chapters. This improves your memory. Another aspect of his appeal is that Holmes is not part of the bureaucracy. He is an amateur in their eyes and just one of them. He has an ingrained sense of law and order, justice, and right from wrong, almost a righteous indignation against someone who has the gall to run afoul of what is right and proper. He disregards the opinions of others he feels are not thorough in their pursuit of the truth, but would rather solve a case quickly and often incorrectly. Writer A. Milne wrote in the preface to his mystery novel, The Red House Mystery, for the detective himself, I demand that he be an amateur in real life, no doubt. The best detectives are the professional police, but then in real life, the best criminals are professional criminals. In the best detective stories, the villain is an amateur, one of ourselves. We rub soldiers with him, and it is the amateur detective alone who can expose the guilty man. For this is what we really come to, that the detective must have no more special knowledge than the average reader. The reader must be made to feel that if he too had used the light of cool inductive reasoning and the logic of stern remorseless facts. As heaven bless us, we are quite capable of doing, then he too would have fixed the guilt. One would think Mile was speaking of Sherlock Holmes. Now, Chapter 1 Exercise. Since this is a book about not only Sherlock Holmes but memory, let's start out with a simple memory test. Take out, take out a paper and pen and jot down yes or no to the following questions, unless indicated otherwise. Note that this is not an exact memory test but simply a way to see how good your memory is. If you receive a low score on this, it could indicate you may have some problems due to poor health or eating habits. But you should see a specialist who can run more precise tests. To see how well you did and how to score this exercise, refer to chapter 17 on page 68. Simple memory test. Number 1. Remember these words: banana, camera, rabbit. Do not write this down yet. Number 2. Remember this name and address: Sally Jones, 2724 Kentucky, Amarillo, Texas. Do not write this down yet. Number 3. Have you had trouble remembering the things you have done the last few weeks? Number 4. Do you have a difficult time remembering lists? Number 5. Do you find yourself having a harder time doing simple math like tallying a 10% tip at a restaurant? Number 6. Have you had trouble paying your bills on time because you forget them? Number 7. Do the names of people you see all the time escape you? Number 8. Are you having trouble recognizing people you should know? Number 9. Do you have trouble retrieving words you should know? Number 10. Are simple tasks like turning on the oven or working a blender difficult? 11. Have you been having memory lapses at work that interfere with your ability to do your job? 12. Are you having trouble functioning at home? 13. Do you shrink from social situations because you can't remember people? 14. Name the last 5 presidents of the United States or in that country where you are living in. 15. Name the past 3 vice presidents of your country. 16. What main dishes did you eat for dinner the last 2 nights? 17. Can you describe the last 2 movies you saw? 18. Write down the 3 words you were asked to remember at the beginning of the quiz. Write down the name and address you were asked to remember at the beginning of the quiz. What is the name of this book? For videos on how to memorize like Sherlock Holmes, you can visit sherlockskills.com.